sale process take once we deliver you a contract to your office?
Sure. On average, the negotiation will take about 3 to 4 months. It really depends on how complete the package that we submit to the bank is, and if the package is full and complete, the process is much shorter. The problem is that a lot of banks, if you don't follow up in time, they will put the file on the back burner, and we definitely don't want that to happen. We usually try to contact the bank at least once a month to make sure that they have everything they need to process the package.
Welcome to part 2 of The Money is Short.
Hi, I'm Caroline.gau in the Baird and Warner Glenbrook office, and this is week 2 of the series, The Money is Short. So we're talking about short sales today, and I'm grateful to have David Chang, he's a real estate attorney, come and answer some of the questions and explain the process about short sales. So David, thank you for being here today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Caroline.
So would you go into some more of the questions that we get asked on a regular basis to explain the process? David's done a lot of short sales in his career, and he's a short sales specialist, and he can help us negotiate with the bank. So I wanted to know, how is a homeowner who's in distress going to know whether they qualify for a hardship with their bank?
Sure, that's a very good question, Caroline, and I do get this question quite often. A couple of things that you want to consider when determining whether or not you would qualify for a short sale is, number one, you need to have an identifiable hardship. So these can be things like a loss of job, a divorce, death of a loved one. It can be even a job relocation. Some people have often asked me, well, my wife got pregnant and we needed a bigger house. This generally would not qualify as a hardship. Okay. This neighborhood has really gone in a direction we don't like. That would not qualify as a hardship. Things of that nature. So we really just need to identify first what really is a hardship.
So they would have a consultation with you before the whole process gets started?
That's correct.
Okay, great. And how long does the short sale process take once we deliver you a contract to your office?
Sure. On average, the negotiation will take about 3 to 4 months. It really depends on how complete the package that we submit to the bank is, and if the package is full and complete, the process is much shorter. The problem is that a lot of banks, if you don't follow up in time, they will put the file on the back burner, and we definitely don't want that to happen. We usually try to contact the bank at least once a month to make sure that they have everything they need to process the package.
Okay, so you touched on that your office touches with the bank about once a month. Mm-hmm. What other process do you take to get the short sale approved?
Sure. As part of the short sale process, a lender will generally review all the fees that we've submitted. They will also generally do a broker's price opinion or some form of appraisal. So oftentimes these things aren't in line with maybe the contract price that we have. So we'll talk to the bank about why our price might be lower than their appraisal. We'll also talk about a lot of the fees that we've submitted that might be very unique to Illinois. So Illinois does have a very unique selling process, and sometimes banks aren't familiar with tax prorations, title fees, attorney fees, and sometimes even agent's fees. So we'll discuss with the bank all of the fees that are involved and why they're necessary a part of this transaction.
Does the homeowner have to incur these fees for the bank or the attorney or the short sale process?
No. What my office will try to do is make it so that the homeowner or the borrower who's in distress does not have to pay any of the fees out of pocket. We try to shift all the fees onto the bank, and in addition, we actually try to negotiate a deficiency waiver, which means that any shortfall on the mortgage would be waived by the bank.
Got it. So there wouldn't be any tax implications?
There may be tax implications. There are certain IRS rules that you should probably talk to an accountant about, but the deficiency itself would be waived, so they would not collect on any remaining balance.
Okay.
However, that could be charged as taxable income in the next tax year.
Okay, so at closing, it would be a 0-0. They're not walking away with a debt, but they also don't have money that, unless you negotiated something at the closing for them?
That's correct.
Okay, good. And would a bank want to approve a short sale, or how do they decide whether to go to foreclosure?
So they do have an internal analysis, which I'm not as familiar with, but just like anybody else, they are trying to make money. They will determine whether or not a short sale will be financially beneficial for them versus a foreclosure. And there are certain situations where a foreclosure may make them more money. They can foreclose, they would take ownership of the home, and they would eventually sell it as a REO or a real estate owned property.
Got it, okay. And how long after a short sale could our homeowner buy another property?
So I've talked to a lot of lenders about this. I used to do a lot of bankruptcy work, and most lenders will say about 2 to 4 years, depending on how active you are about rebuilding your credit, and in addition, the type of financing that you try to enter into. So FHA is a little bit more lenient with their financing and their credit scores, whereas conventional is a little bit more strict, so that might take about 4 years. But most of the lenders are saying about 2 to 3 years for FHA financing.
Okay, so you touched on credit. So is credit going to be wrecked or bruised or?
So there's no question that a short sale will hurt your credit. However, if you're already behind on your payments, it's likely that your credit's already damaged. And at this point, what we're trying to do more so is figure out a way to get you on your path to financial freedom rather than trying to save credit.
So in general, the homeowner who goes through a short sale is going to be better off than if they just don't do anything and act like an ostrich and ends up in foreclosure.
Certainly. Anytime you have these situations, rather than trying to hide from it, you certainly should talk to some people to see what path it might be the best for you to get out of debt quickly and move on with your life.
Oh, that's really useful. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And if you know of somebody who is in a hardship situation and needs to sell their home and they don't know where to turn, you can contact me. You can call David Chang at
847-907-4971 or visit my website at changlegal.com.
Great. Thanks so much, David.
Thanks, Caroline.
These are the kinds of invaluable insights I share with my clients when they choose to work with me. Hire me today.